Hello, welcome to Chat with Matt Career Series. I'm your host, Mattpreneur. Elmont Library, how are you doing? Today we have a very special guest to talk to us about aviation careers. Her name is Dominique Pierrot, and I'm just gonna let her introduce herself. She's an amazing young woman from Queens, New York. Ms. Dominique, say hi to everyone.
Hi, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Excited to chat with you all today.
Awesome, thank you. Tell us where you're from and where you are.
Sure. So I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York. I went to Cardozo High School. Yay, Queens. I went to Cardozo High School in Bayside, and I went to Syracuse University and studied marketing management. And now I'm living in Los Angeles. I'm currently doing marketing at LAX Airport.
LAX Airport, like Los Angeles
Yeah,
Airport?
yeah, Los Angeles International Airport.
I did not know that. That's dope. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
That is an amazing opportunity. I know you're knocking out the park. So that is dope to hear that.
It's a very
So
big, challenging airport, but it's a fun place to work.
definitely, I mean, I can't imagine. So you're deep into aviation. So I know before this, you had worked with JetBlue.
Yes, so before working with Westfield through their LAX property, I was working at JetBlue for about 5.5 years, starting in 2013 when I graduated from school. I started out as an intern in a community department, and then followed by that, I started focusing on loyalty marketing. So all of our frequent flyer program, and focusing on those customers, making sure those customers are happy, and putting together different marketing promotions and programs for them.
Yo, that's dope. 6 years at JetBlue, marketing. You was an intern. So for our teams here at Elmont Library, um, what is an intern? What is that? What was that like for you being an intern?
Yeah, sure. Being an intern, honestly, that was like my favorite job at JetBlue in the community department because I love community service, and I was able to do community initiatives as my full time role as an intern. As an intern, it is a temporary position, so usually could last anywhere from a month to 6 months, or in my case, maybe even a year. And you get basically to serve as a full-time assistant for the department that you are assigned to. And sometimes you can get pulled into different departments, and you really get to see the ins and outs of how the particular department works, how the company works, and then it then help you to make a decision to decide if this is something that you want to do or maybe you don't want to do. So it's a great like exploratory like career slash assignment to have.
Yes, that is dope. I try, with Galore Tech, we try to recruit interns. I try to speak to the youth about internship. It's a way to get in the door somewhere where you might not traditionally. It's a way to get experience where you can't, especially when you consider the backgrounds of the communities that we serve. Sometimes you don't want to get that chance to see the work up front and, like you said, make a decision on whether you really like it and that's something that you want to pursue to make a career. So that's dope. So while you was at JetBlue and now LAX, I know everyone knows you can be a pilot. We've all seen stewardesses in action. What other careers would you like to highlight for the youth in the aviation industry?
Yeah, sure. So my particular role sat within the support center, and support center roles are roles within an airline that support everything above the wing that's not in an aircraft. So you could work in human resources and hire people. You can work on onboard experience, which is a super fun job. You get to pick all the food that goes into business class, all the snacks, you get to pick all the sodas and juices that you can bring onto the aircraft, and just really like what the look and feel of how you're going to fly is going to be. That's actually someone's job to figure out what airplane seat they're going to put on the actual plane and how much legroom you're going to get. There's also marketing, which I was a part of, that puts together all the promotions, any fun events that you see maybe digitally or in the past pre-COVID in an actual physical space. You also do have your finance department. You also have your systems operations department where you're literally sitting in a dark room. What like, they call it at JetBlue the fishbowl, and you're just watching the flights all day and figuring out like what's the best route the flight should take. If there's any delays, rerouting those planes and schedules. So those are a few of the many jobs that you could have at a support center for an airline.
So, so I heard a lot of things that led to math. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, math is super important. There's some roles that are a little more math heavier than others, like marketing, for example, you won't use a lot of math, but you should have some minor or mid-level math knowledge so that you can monitor your budget. So yeah, math is important. Stim.
That is dope. So while you was at Syracuse, go Cuse, did you think you'd get into these fields where you'll be working in aviation pretty much?
No, I had no clue that I would do aviation because at my particular college there wasn't a specific program for aviation. It was just general marketing. So no, I didn't. It just JetBlue was a company that I thought was really cool, and I loved their like marketing and the customer experience. And a job had
Yes.
popped up, so I was like, hey, like let me apply and see what happens. And I got the job. It's a long interview process. You get to meet with a lot of people, but it was worth it in the end.
That's amazing. Now I'm gonna interject with this one line. I like to tell people, opportunity is always gonna arrive. It depends if you are ready. So you was ready for the opportunity that you saw in front of you and said, "Let me go for this because everything else is in order."
Yes, correct. And it was like a battling decision because usually when you graduate from college you think like or society says like, oh, you need to get this like full-time job and supposedly you graduate college you're gonna make a lot of money, and that's not the reality. It's like when you graduate college you still have to kind of, now you haven't been working, you haven't ever worked or you haven't worked a full-time job forever and forever. So you really need to start and get your foot in the door. And this was a great way for me to get my foot in the door, and to be able to decide what I want to do at the company before making a full-time decision to be there.
That's dope. So I want to ask, in your career so far, like how many countries have you been able to go to? How many people have you met from different countries?
Yeah, sure. I've been to maybe like around 30 flight or
Wow.
countries that I've been to. Um, all over. So some of the ones that I can remember, and I always get asked this question. I really need to go on Amazon and buy like a board and pin so I can just look like that's the exact number. Maybe I'll do that after this call. But I've been to places like Ethiopia. I've been to places Ethiopia. I've been to Ghana. I've been to Panama. I've been to China. I've been a lot of places in
Wow.
Asia. I've been to like Guangzhou, Beijing, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore. Those are just a few, just to name. I've been to Brazil. I would say out of all
Nice.
I've traveled Asia, specifically being in Hong Kong, Beijing, were the most, that was the places where I got the most culture shock, just because there's not many of us there. And sometimes they'll just like touch your skin and like try to see
Such
like
a
touch your hair. If you're a tall guy, they think you're a basketball player in the NBA because apparently all people that are tall are basketball players. So,
It's
and I
true.
would say
That's crazy.
the places where I felt the most comfortable was in Africa, specifically in Ghana. I went to Ethiopia, and Ethiopia was cool, but in Ghana I feel like a little bit more at home.
I can feel. I got a lot of friends that are from Ghana. Like you said, I feel like at home with them.
Mm,
Ghana and Nigeria.
exactly.
So we was talking. You're from Queens and you're in LA now. What schools? We were talking about a high school. What was that high school you said that's in Queens, New York?
Bayside, is in Bayside, Queens, but it's Cardozo.
Cardozo? No, the you said Aviation High School.
Oh, yes, 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 high school. Aviation high school. And that actually was one of the first high schools to bring in JetBlue's first ever JetBlue Foundation scholarship program. JetBlue
Oh,
Foundation is really big on making sure that students have access to STEM related education. So we do our best to fund schools that are supporting that mission or organizations to make sure that people have STEM education, because STEM or STEAM now is so important. To Matthew's point about math, no matter what career you're in, you're going to need to know a little bit of math. So it's so important to start that early.
That is
And
dope.
and another point is that there's a lack of like African Americans and women, especially in the STEM careers. So the hope is to get more women as well as minority groups into STEM related roles.
Definitely, the numbers in STEAM for women are bad. For minorities, it's even worse. So, our mission is to try and improve that, and I'm glad that there's a program out there that focus on that as well. There's a lot of programs that focus on it. This one is actually pretty great, and it's in aviation. So, I'm going to look that up and see how they can help our community out, and if they are doing anything, how can we support them? How can the community support those who are helping us, right? Because if they're helping us, we gotta make sure we appreciate it and we receive that love.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to close off, was there anything you wanted to say to our teens?
I would say to get involved in as many programs that you can. Growing up, I was a big YMCA kid and part of like leadership clubs. And you don't have to be a part of YMCA to do that. Your library has things I'm sure similar. And just like get out and have as many experiences as possible, because I feel like the more you get to experience, especially now we have so many virtual opportunities, the more it help you make a decision as to like what you think you want to do, at least from like post junior high school into college.
Definitely, thank you. That's why I like this our nonprofit that we started. It started with me giving a kid a piece of paper that said code.org. Like, hey, you can play these games all day, but how about you try to make a game? Maybe if you make a game, you can sell the game to your friends for $1, da da da. Just trying to motivate them to not just do the same old, but step outside the comfort zone, find out what's out there. And then for me, especially as a youth growing up, I wasn't the YMCA kid. I went to Boys and Girls Club for a little bit, but besides that, I didn't get to explore too much. I had to dig to find stuff to do or different opportunities. And my mission is to actually open those doors and put it in front of the kids and let them make a choice. Do I want to be a pilot? Do I want to get into marketing? Do I want to be a coder? So this has been great. Thank you so much, Dominique, for being with us today.
Bye, everybody.
Hello, Elmont Library teams. How are you doing today? This is Chat with Matt. I'm your host, Mattpreneur. This is the career series, and today we're talking about aviation. Today we have a great guest for you. His name is Abe Richards. He's actually from South Jamaica, Queens. He's 23 years old, and he has a passion that I felt when I met him recently, that I had to bring his energy, his wisdom, any knowledge that he had to share with us today. Let's give a big fingers up for Brother Abe Richards. Brother, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Blessed.
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you for joining us today. We have a nonprofit called Galore Tech, and our mission is to align education with tech. And we really super love working with the youth. So you being here today is a great bit of piece for us to reach more youth, especially in this field of aviation. I wanted to ask you, why aviation? Why are you into aviation? There's a passion from you the other day, and you told me what you was into, what you want to do, and I wanted to share that. So why are you in love with aviation?
Got you. I actually love that question. One reason why I'm in love with aviation is mainly because of where I'm from. So being from South Jamaica, Queens, which is not too far from JFK Airport, actually a lot of neighborhoods like Far Rockaway, a lot of neighborhoods like Rosedale, a lot of neighborhoods are very close to JFK. And one thing that we experience living there is there's always these big planes flying over us. You hear them all the time. They're flying over you. And you're like, wow. You start to look up out of curiosity. Well, where's that plane going? What is that plane doing? Who's on that plane? And in my case, who's operating or flying.
Yes. Who's
So
on that plane?
yeah, who's on that plane? And after seeing that and asking those questions, I just build a curiosity for it. And after doing research and looking into it, I basically fell in love with it. But when I looked around my community, I realized that wait, we live around an airport, but none of the businesses here really cater or utilize that opportunity. That's millions of people, traffic flow going through, a lot of big business, but for some reason, the neighborhoods around that airport are isolated. So it made me even want to find out, well, what's this airport about and how can I be a part of it? And let me tell you, Matt, I love to travel. I want to see the world. And I looked into a job that can satisfy those desires too.
Mm.
I found becoming commercial airline pilot is what I wanted to do. So really how I got into aviation, developed a passion for it was seeing it around me, looking what's going on around me, and always looking up, traveling and noticing that, wait, my community is impacted heavily by JFK, even though my community isn't directly involved with it. How can I align myself to be directly involved with this great asset that I grew up around me?
Wow, that is so true. That's amazing. And you look up and you're like, wait, how come I don't see nothing related somewhat to this? That's like you said, it's flying over our head literally every 7, 8 minutes. We are impacted by that vision. So I'm glad that you're dreaming big. Right now, are you in school?
I'm
Are
definitely
you training?
So I am in a professional development program called Alpha Aviation. And they not only teach you how to fly, but they're also developing you professionally. So they're going to make sure that you have all your documents. They're going to make sure that you are professional and that you're ready to go. Basically, you know how some schools you just get your education and leave? The school that I'm a part of, Alpha Aviation, their
Yes.
mission is to get you into the airlines. So yes, you have your certificates. Maybe some institutions you have a certificates. Good, that's on you. Take yourself the rest of the way. No, Alpha Aviation's their purpose is to get you into the airlines. So a lot of things that I have to do, maybe some other airlines or some other schools you may not have to. For example, having all my documents, making sure that I take tests and having screens and knowing information that maybe some other, students may not have to know. Not just knowing how to fly, but also knowing the areas that I'm flying in, how to communicate, what's expected of me, checking up on the airplane. Right now, I'm currently pursuing my student private pilot. No, I'm sorry. I'm currently pursuing my private pilot certificates. And what that basically allows me to do is after I obtain that, I can then fly my own and then I'll continue. Would you
Wow.
like
So that's your first step.
would you like me to tell you the other steps? If you would like.
Yes, please.
So the way the aviation field works when it comes to become a commercial airline pilot is everything is known is through hours. So hours is basically like seniority, and that's how long you've been flying for. And the reason why that matters is because how long you're flying for is a representation of how experienced you are. And with more experience, a company will maybe hold you more valuable. So when you first start off,
Okay.
right, you have from 0 hours to 45 hours. The minimum to get your private pilot license is 45 hours in the sky, flying time, right? After you obtain your license, your private pilot license, then you have to move on to instruments. And instruments is basically learning how to fly a plane without being able to see outside. And how do you do that? You basically use your gauges, your indicators or your gauges on your dashboard, and they give you a proper and accurate understanding of where you are on this earth and who's around you. So after you do that, and the reason why that's important is because when you're in the sky, there are clouds, there's other planes that are flying maybe 1,000 feet above you, 1,000 feet below you, and you may not be able to
Wow.
see. Also, if there's clouds outside, you can't look outside and say, whoa, I'm passing right over the Manhattan Bridge, or whoa, I'm in, Kew Gardens. You can't say that because you can't see it.
No.
Instruments allow you to do that without having to see it really because you know exactly where you are. So after you get your instrument ratings, you really engage into it starts to become more commercial, right? And this is where you can actually work. So after you get your instrument, you become a CFI, which is also certified flight instructor. And basically you teach other people how to fly. Now, you're going to have to do that until you get to 1,500 hours, I believe, right? So until you want, if yes. But the good thing in that is being a certified flight instructor is its own profession. So it's not like you're going to be in school straggling. You can work and
Okay.
build up your hours. So you're being paid. And the pay wages are different depending on what academy, what state you're in. But you can make this a profession. So you do that until you reach about 1,500 hours of flight time. And then you can apply for then you can apply to work for a commercial airline. And commercial airlines could go from the big ones that you see every time, like Delta, American, United, Southwest, and JetBlue, to small ones like, something that's maybe just local, or something that, you might fly somebody's small jet for them from here and there.
Spirit.
Spirit is definitely on its way up. It's small. It's small, but it's on its way up. So even Spirit, yeah. So after you do that, you finally made the commercial airline, and then that is its own way. And then, that's more hours that you have to apply for seniority. But in order to get to the big leagues or the commercial airlines as a pilot, that's the route that you would have to take.
So 45 hours is to get your permit.
Not your permit, right? And that's the minimum. And I'm happy that you asked about this, right? In aviation, everybody is different, right? So it might only take me 45 hours, and then I can take all my exams to get my private pilot license, where it might take you 65 hours, or it might take someone else 85 hours.
Okay.
But that's just the minimum. Everybody is different. And in that situation, in the sky, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. So there's minimums to get your private pilot, but everybody's different. So 45 is the minimum, but then after that,
Okay.
if you need more time, definitely take it, because when you're in the air, it's a serious profession. Like they say, it's optional to leave, but it's mandatory to land.
Oh, for real. I hear you. Question. Did you take any aviation courses or any science or tech courses that pertain to your career goals?
Yeah, well, yes. It's what we call it in aviation school is ground school. And basically ground school is the book part of it, where you have to study the book and learn by. And there's a lot of subjects that you cover. So for example, there's communication and navigations, there's aerodynamics, there's learning your aircraft, there is also class air zones, there are also sectional charts. So yeah, there are a lot of, actually, I would say 85% of aviation to become a commercial airline pilot is studying. A lot of studying, a lot of reading, a lot of going over notes. And then maybe you can say, that other part, that small percentage is really flying, because the book is where you get it here. And in the air, when you're flying, is when you apply it. And they go hand in hand, because they go hand in hand. So if you're just flying, but you're not studying, it's not gonna map out, but a lot. So basically,
I hope we do both.
yes, definitely. But I studied courses on aerodynamics. I studied courses on communications. I studied courses on what's it called? Hazards. Knowing your plane, knowing the class zones that you're in. Also, navigating where you are, your instruments in your plane. So yeah, a lot of reading and a lot of books, and that is referred to as ground school.
I like that. We need a lot of ground school. That sounds like a lot, but actually, if you start, you're gonna finish, right?
Yes.
You start and stay dedicated to it.
If you start.
So, how many hours have you flown?
So right about now, I am in 35 hours. right? I was, thank you,
Yes.
I appreciate. So I'm near that mark. I'm near that mark to get my stuff. Yeah, I would be a lot longer further if it wasn't for Corona and everything, but
Of
I'm at
course.
around 35 right now. Next time
That's
we
dope.
talk,
Maybe one day I can come watch you fly, and we can,
oh, yeah, definitely.
film an outdoor segment of Chat with Matt. So, our other guest was Ms. Dominique Pierrot out of LA, and she, like we said, she does more marketing. She's
Mhm.
worked with JetBlue and LAX. I think she's a couple years older than you. Maybe she's like 28. So that was an amazing talk we had with her. Um, so what do you see next happening? Let's act like COVID's not here. You're
Yeah.
at where you at right now, but let's act COVID's not here. What's next for you?
So what's next for me is so I have a monologue, all right? I have a little bit of speech because I really look into the future. You know, you prepare for tomorrow so that
Amen.
when
I like that.
tomorrow comes, you line yourself up the best. Basically what I see for myself is, you know, get my private pilot license, my certification, and then get my instrument certification. What I love about aviation, it's a unique skill being a commercial airline pilot, but you can also help people. So after I get my private pilot license, I can go and actually volunteer for agencies that actually helps fly sick people across the nation. So let's say if a person
Wow.
can't
Okay.
get from a hospital in Chicago to New York, I can actually help with that. I can actually be in that plane next to a commander pilot, a pilot in command, and I be the co-pilot, and I'm helping that person fly across so that you know you can come back and forth. That's what I look forward to.
Let me just tell you real quick. You just touched my heart. You just touched my heart,
Mhm.
and everybody that knows me, you probably just touched their heart because a lot of my crew about giving back, supporting each other, uplifting each other. What you just said was it really touched me. So I appreciate you for even thinking like that.
Yeah.
How when you get to where your dream is, you want to make sure you help out a fellow man.
Yeah.
And I personally say I appreciate that. Thank you.
Wow. You know, I was just thinking two things that really helped me look into that is first a quote by Bob Marley. If your plan only includes yourself, then you're thinking too small, right? And then secondly,
Mm,
just the
mm,
grounds of
mm.
aviation that I explored. Um, you know, when you talk to pilots, when you talk to people in the industry, they want to help you. My experience with other pilots, and especially even black pilots or minority pilots, you know, you ask them a question and they'll stop whatever they're doing and they'll come and they'll talk to you. So just seeing that, you know, being inspired by the industry itself, you know, people in the industry inspire you because they want to help you and you can only take that energy and pay it forward, you know. So they'll tell you, well, this is what you need, that is what you need, you should go here, you should go there, you should volunteer here. And just
So
seeing that, it's like,
yes.
okay, I may not have the official commercial license where I have the big time job, but on the way I can always still use my skill that I obtained to help people and make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah. um
That is dope. That's amazing. Well, you're officially on my team with that statement.
awesome.
And I'm on your team.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So after I obtained my instruments, really just working and powering through that. Um, and then after that, becoming a CFI, a commercial flight instructor. And you know, I look forward to that because now I'm gonna be in the opposite seat, which is the instructor seat. Right now I'm the student, and then I have the opportunity to be the instructor and teaching people how to fly. Another thing I love about being in that seat is it's inspiring because in the aviation pilot, you know, community, you have people from many different ages. I met people who are in their 40s, in their 30s, sometimes even in their 50s that are training to become a commercial airline pilot or just want to know how to fly a plane. So really you're helping somebody who, and a lot of them, their story is, well, I was doing this and I was doing that, but I always wanted to fly. I always wanted to know how to do this. So you're actually really helping somebody fulfill their long dream.
Dream. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And it's really inspiring because like this is a person who never gave up on their dream. So really being in that, I really look forward to. And then after that, graduating, take my exams and become a commercial airline pilot. The company I would love to work for is United, really because they're one of the legacy companies, and also because their policies of how they take care of the pilots. Every airline company has a different, benefits and cons that they have. And just looking into some of them, I believe I want to work for anyone, but if I had the choice, I'm, leaning more towards because, just the way they treat their pilots and everything. But every company has a different kind of culture. After that,
you real quick, you said United. I've never flown United. You had to just say the airline I've never been on. But go ahead.
for real? Yeah.
For real.
I,
Delta, JetBlue, Spirit.
I think when it comes to like being comfortable on a plane, JetBlue is a little bit more comfortable. The seats have a little more cushion.
Okay.
But
Okay.
when it comes to like policies and everything, no. After that, flying in a year is my biggest goal and my biggest dream when it comes to being a commercial airline pilot, because it's always good to think about the end, is to become something what they call a chief pilot. And what a chief pilot basically is they are in charge of all the pilots within a company or a region. So they make sure pilots are where they're supposed to be. They make sure that pilots land where they're supposed to land. They make sure that, pilots are doing what they're doing correctly because they are the chief pilot. It's always good to aim to be the head, even if it takes a while to get there. Always aim, to be the best of whatever you're going to be in that industry. And for me, being, paying my dues, paying my time, working hard to get there, being a chief pilot, that would be my ultimate dream within that profession.
Oh, you're gonna get there. I have no doubt.
I appreciate that,
I
man.
have no doubt, and I'm pretty sure your network will be there for you. Your old network, your new network, and I know I want to see you get there. I want to see when you become a chief pilot, 20, whatever that time frame is. If I'm still ticking, I would be excited that day. You know what I mean? Because it is a significant achievement. It's a different achievement. We don't have a lot of that in the communities that are minority, or it's not in our face enough. We're big on tech, and we talk about the woman issue, talk about the color issue, and it spans all careers, right? There's a lack of diversity, most likely, and there's a lack of opportunity. And for me, there's a lack of showing our youth what's possible and really breaking it down for them and letting them get some hands-on experience. So I'm glad you're able to fight through that and do that. And I'm gonna ask you now in front of everyone, maybe one day we could do a robotics class, or we have a class and we build some robotic airplanes.
Yeah.
Or even drone.
Yeah. And we can definitely discuss
2021.
2021. We could definitely discuss aerodynamics, how a plane operates, how a plane flies, because it looks complicated. You just see a flying piece of metal tube in the sky, and you're like, well, how does it do that? But once you learn the science behind it, you're like, whoa, this is not as complicated as it seems. Just one more thing I want to touch on that you said, really getting out that, information to people and individuals. I really feel like what changed aviation for me was I was once a kid that was just looking at planes fly over my head and didn't understand what was going on. But literally the distribution, giving out information, telling people about your industry, letting them know what's going on, letting them know about their community and understanding a profession, just literally hearing a commercial airline pilot, it sparked in my mind. So just literally letting people know about industries and, like you said, about technology, letting people know the information about the opportunities that are available to them and maybe fields that they never heard of can really make a difference, especially for, people who are young. So, yeah.
Totally got distracted. Unbelievable. We're gonna edit this part out because we're great. So that is amazing, though. Wow, you just gave our youth a whole bunch of education and knowledge and inspiration. So if I had a 16-year-old, let's just say, what would I tell them? Hey, you want to be a pilot? What should I tell them? Where should they go?
Well, first, what I would tell them is to actually do research online. Literally, just look up on YouTube. What do I need to become a commercial airline pilot? Next, I would tell them to just contact schools. Um, and for me personally, you can become a commercial airline pilot without a degree, a college degree, or you can become one with a college degree. I would personally always say to get your education and go to school because the pay gap is so different if you want to be a commercial airline pilot. So I'll give you an example. Without a 4-year college degree, you'll make about $60,000 starting off as a commercial airline pilot. With a 4-year degree, you'll make $90,000. So, and it just keeps climbing. And it just keeps climbing. And that's such a big gap. So you just doing research and understanding, and then on top of that, talking to people who are in the industry. And I know that's a little difficult because you might live in an area where there's not a lot of pilots. I lived in South Jamaica, Queens. So, you know, I would see a pilot getting on the train going to JFK, but just talking to people in the industry and doing your research and reaching out to aviation school and seeing like what they have to offer you. So that's
Definitely, that is dope. You can finish. I'm sorry.
Oh no. That was really it though. Doing your information, doing your research, and on top of that, look. I would say also, I know this might be a little crazy, but if you got a little extra change in your pocket, go on a discovery flight. A discovery flight is basically where you go with an instructor, and you literally fly the plane for like an hour, and they basically show you some maneuvers in the sky, and really that gives you a chance to see if you love it. It's one thing talking about the sky, and it's another thing being up there, man. I'm telling you, when you're up 1,000 feet and you're looking at the clouds, and it's a big difference. So if you have a little bit of extra dollars, look up an aviation school
Mm-hmm.
and or a flight program and tell them, hey, I was wondering if I can go on Discovery flight. It might be $100 to $150, and you literally go on that plane and you fly. It's called a Discovery flight. They fly for about an hour. You do some maneuvers, and then you land, and you'll get to know, wow, this is for me. You know, just go on and ahead of it and see, like, wow, is this for me or is this not for
What's the minimum age to go on a flight?
me? I ooh. So
Is it
to
like 18 most likely?
I'm not 100% sure. I know in order to work, you gotta be 18, but to fly, I don't think you have to be, I think it might be 16. That I'm not 100% sure. I think it might be 16 though.
Well, we still got virtual reality.
We still got virtual reality. Yeah, simulators. Yeah. Simulators. But
Do simulators and stuff like that.
I would definitely say like go for it though. If you can, let's say 16 is it? Like that's the flight where you can go and do a discovery flight. Try it out. Do it. Do your information. Go reading. Go online. Watch videos online. And talk to people because it's literally just information. It's literally just information. And
You almost got me ready to go book a
yeah.
flight to fly.
Yeah, man, come on up.
I'm going to the friendly skies. Well, Elmont Library, I hope you got some tips and jewels from Abe Richards. I definitely did. I'm kind of inspired. I'm working on some projects. Hopefully, we can benefit the community. Like I said, we maybe get some drones out there, build some robotic planes, some aerodynamics. There's a lot of opportunity in the aviation field. And so, Abe, thank you for being with us today. And just know that anything you need from us, we'll be here for you.
Is it okay?
I definitely want to tell the teens, you're welcome. Definitely want to tell the teens at Elmont Library, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your contact at Elmont Library. We'll try to get any answers for you. And hopefully next summer in 2021, we can bring you something that's related to what we're talking about today, aviation.
Is it okay if I just give
Abe?
some advice?
Yes.
Just really quickly. Is it okay if I just give some advice?
Yes.
So two advice. And this is personal for me. A lot of times people will tell you, oh, you're going in the sky. Is that safe? Just thinking about the worst of it all. When you know what you're doing and you put that time into study, you're going to be fine. When you put that time to study, when you put that time into do the research and you apply your work, you're going to be fine. And the second thing is that and if you don't decide to do aviation, whatever you decide to do it with passion and do it with love in your heart and do it to the best of your ability, and you'll go really far. You will go really far. Let passion drive you. That's it.
Definitely. Thank you for that, brother. Riches, I appreciate that. Well, teens, I hope you enjoyed our talk today. This was Chat with Matt, Elmont Library Career Series, Aviation Careers with Abe Richards. Have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Don't forget, every day, walk in your greatness and be great. Bye.